In primary school, I met this particular young man that I went to school with. Let's call him Emeka. Now, Emeka was that young man in class that every teacher referred to as an Olodo. Emeka just wouldn't learn. Emeka would be one of the last three people in class. Sometimes it's the last. Emeka struggled. Fast forward to many years down the line. I met Emeka as a professor at Edinburgh University. What do you think about? And I mean, I went to school with Emeka from primary 1 to primary 5, and it was same story every day. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I welcome to Friday Brief with Coach Wendy. I want to show you why your child is actually failing. And if your child is always failing, then don't go away. Do this. Come closer. Let's go. The first thing that you need to do when it comes to a child who is struggling academically is for you to first of all stop labeling them as a failure. Now, when I got into a conversation with Emeka after meeting him so many years down the line, he said to me, my parents never called me a failure. Failure in school doesn't mean failure in life. Many children who struggle academically shine in creativity, in leadership, in problem solving. Your words can either crush them or lift them. It was Thomas Edison, whom was told that he cannot be in school because he wasn't learning. His mom took him and said, no, my child can learn. That child might just be that the child is just more creative in the way that they are learning. So the first thing you want to do is to stop to label. And he said that and it was very instructive to me. As we continue to speak, he said one of the things that my parents found out is that I had a learning disability. And the moment they were able to recognize it, everything changed for me in secondary school. So number 2, find the root cause, not just the result. Is it a learning difficulty? Is my child having ADHD, dyslexia, attention struggles? Some of us actually have learning difficulties that we don't even know that we have. Until I started to drive, I didn't know that I had directional dyslexia. Yes, you heard me right. I have a problem with understanding my left from my right. But I've been like that all of my years. Nobody picked it up or paid attention because we don't really study any child that we have. Is it a teaching style? Until you know why, you can't help your child overcome. That's one of the things that you want to note. And then he said something to me that was very thought-provoking. He said, my parents never asked me, what was your grade? They said that to ask me, what did you learn? You need to focus on progress, no matter how little it is. A child who improves from 20% to 35% deserves to actually be celebrated. Make it look as if the child is all gone because the child is not first in class. The child is improving, and that's what is very important. So shift from grade to growth. And then number 4, you need to support their learning palettes. Now, I know that you know something about learning style. So in my upcoming book, Raising the Lifelong Learner, I actually shared about the learning palette. Let me give you some expo. Maybe that will help you, ginger you, and get you to actually begin to learn. Now, the brain is far more complex and interconnected than we know. Now, great learning doesn't happen through one channel. That's the truth. It happens when multiple senses are engaged. That's why you need to move from the single label. It doesn't mean that learning styles are not important, but you need to move from there to embrace the idea of a learning palette. You know how a palette is? Think of a master artist. She doesn't use one color. She has a full palette with many shades. So my husband is an amateur artist, and our daughter also loves creativity and to draw with art and all of that. Now, that artist may have her favorite color, the one that she reaches out first, the one that she uses most, but her true genius comes from knowing how to use all of them. Your child is the same. They need to actually have a unique palette of cognitive strength. Our job is not to give them a single color label, but to become what I call a learning detective. So you can discover their entire palette. You need to actually, in that book, I explain how you can become a learning detective for your child and then create how they learn. This is very important. Number 5, support their learning style. Many of the times, you find that some children actually learn differently. Some learn best with stories, others with songs, others with pictures, others with practices and experiences. But one thing that I've found, and this is one of the things that I shared in my book, Raising the Lifelong Learner, is that a lot of us actually forget, or we can't even really curate a learning system for our children. There's something called the learning palette. So it means that you need to move from just learning through the learning style to actually the learning palette. Now, the truth is that the brain is far more complex and interconnected. Great learning doesn't happen through one channel. It happens when multiple senses are engaged. And that's why we need to move from that single label and embrace the idea that I call a learning palette. Now, think of a master artist. Now, she doesn't use only one color. She has a full palette with many shades. She may have her favorite colors, yes, the ones that she will reach out for most of. But the skill comes from the fact that she knows that she can use all of these colors anytime and make something exciting out of it. Now, your child is the same. Your child has a unique palette of cognitive strength. Our job is not to give them a single color label. Our job is to become what I call the learning detective and discover their entire palette. A learning detective I shared extensively in that book, Raising the Lifelong Learner, how to cultivate an unshakable love of learning in your child. Exams are not love for learning. The fact that your child can pass exams can also mean that the child doesn't really love to learn. Let's do an experiment. How many books have you read since you got your degree? Or did you just finish your degree the last time you put a pen down, you said, that's the last time I will ever read anything in my life again? You do yourself a disservice because you are never going to grow. Anyways, if you want to learn about learning detective, just simply put yes. We will share the link for you to join the flash sale that is happening right on Monday, the 6th of October. You don't want to miss it because it's going to be you getting almost an 80% off the entire stuff that we have. Please do not miss it. All right, let's go on. What else will you do? Build confidence outside of academics. When children see themselves as winning in one area, sports, arts, music, problem solving, it gives them the confidence to try academically. If your child is struggling with maths, for instance, make them to learn how to play the keyboard. Amazing. If your child is struggling with, maybe trying to do comprehension, put a lot of things together, do you know that swimming can change how your child learns? Yes. And of course, you find all of these lessons in my upcoming book in one of the system ones. And then number 6, you need to partner with teachers and mentors. Stop fighting the school. Let them be able to actually help you. Tutoring, mentoring, sometimes a fresh voice can make a difference. Let your child go into mentoring systems and help them a lot. And of course, lastly, pray, encourage, stay present. Many children fail because they already believe that they are failures. Your presence, your encouragement, and your prayers may be a lifeline that they actually need. Stay present. Remember, academic failure is not destiny. The fact that your child is failing academically doesn't mean that their life is gone. With the right support, the right understanding, and also the environment, your child can rise and become. Think of it lastly. That is why Robert Kiyosaki actually wrote that book and said, that is why A students work for C students. Now, you find that very interesting because I have seen people who actually graduated with top class, who actually build things where they are employing people who have graduated with the first class. What do you think happened? It's because there's a focus on other things that they can do instead of just the academics. Did you pick out something you would do today? In the comment section, let me see you put in the comment section, I will do this for my child who is struggling academically. Please, I beg you, get that book, Raising the Lifelong Learner. It will change your life. They are part of the 6-in-1 books that I'm launching this year. That would be the 2022. I've now been able to author 28 books in total. And you'll find every single one of them on Amazon. And you can get them to actually, get to send you to anywhere you are. And if you're in Nigeria, you can get copies using the link in our description. Thank you again for joining me today. My name is Wendy Ologe, and I'm called Africa's #1 parent coach. I am the founder of the Intentional Parents Academy. See you again next Friday.